Oh, let's not think of tomorrow, lest we disappointed be. Our joys may turn to sorrow, as we all may daily see. Today we may be strong and healthy, but soon there comes a change, as we may see from the explosion there has been a trimmed and grange.
Coal mining is our heritage in County Durham. The only thing is, there's a lot of people that will not come to County Durham because they still see it as being in the 60s, dark and dank and dirty and slag heaps everywhere, and it's not like that anymore.
Many small towns and villages in County Durham in the north of England were built to provide housing during the early days of the industrial era. As the demand for coal in the UK increased, so did the demand for more miners who came in droves from all over the British Isles, bringing their families with them. These were busy and exciting days in places like Sunnyside, Towlaw, Crook and Billy Row. Unfortunately, these small villages were not immune to the inevitable effect of supply and demand. As the need for coal decreased, so too did the need for fully operational mineworks. With the closing of these collieries, entire villages were left with no other means of employment, and villagers were forced to find work elsewhere, leaving these once booming areas abandoned and forgotten by the world that once demanded so much of them. Years later, a new form of harvesting energy has begun in County Durham, and its presence is more than noticeable.
I'm quite happy about wind farms. They've got to be a little bit cleaner than smoke, and also a little bit more friendly than nuclear power.
Well, I think they are a bit of a good project, but I think they make the countryside look a bit ugly. I just think the size of them, when you're looking across the countryside, I like to see the nice rolling hills. I don't like to see a big white stick in the middle with three fans on it.
My opinion, I think the wind turbines are quite nice. They look very modern, and they make the countryside look as though it's coming into the 21st century.
Yeah, but the countryside's not supposed to be in the 21st century, though.
I think everyone has room for improvement, and I think that
no, the countryside doesn't.
For decades, areas all over England have been exposed to a form of coal extraction known as open cast mining or strip mining, which is a method of extracting rock or minerals from the earth, from an open pit or borrow. These mining sites tend to go on for miles, rendering the land useless from any other form of farming or pedestrian involvement, and exposing the environment to harmful toxic gases and chemicals. Currently, the introduction of larger open cast mining sites has emerged as a possibility in County Durham, and current plans are in effect to go underway as soon as next year. With public opposition to both the proliferation of wind farms and the large-scale open casting, it is our duty as youth and environmental activists to hit the streets and see exactly how much the public actually knows about old energy, renewable energy, and the pros and cons of both methods. Here's what we found.
I mean, open cast mining provides employment, and apart from anything else, I have a coal fire, and lots of other people have coal fires in Weardale, in Towlaw and Billy Row. Where do they think the coal's going to come from? Because if we don't do it in this country, then we've got to import it, and that will cost a lot of money. If we didn't have open cast mining, if we didn't have wind farms, if we didn't have other things, then where would we get the jobs that would boost the local economy?
Open casting, I don't really know a lot about it, but I would think that it'd be quite messy.
I like the ideas of alternative sources of energy coming in, but if we still need to rely on power plants and stuff like that, they're still going to need the coal to burn, so we still need open casting.
I've lived here for 25 years, and for most of that time we've had an open cast somewhere around us, and we're really, really fed up with them, and we think enough is enough.
There's a lot of employment in mining, underground mining, open cast mining. I don't know about, I don't think there's that much employment in wind farms, but there has to be some to erect them in the first place.
In the mid-70s, Banks Group was founded by former Durham County Council member Harry Banks. He saw the opportunity to develop and manage coal sites in the area. Over the last 32 years, Banks Group has diversified its methods of harvesting energy, including wind turbine technology.
I can give you some indications of cost to construct the West Durham wind farm project. And I can tell you that, for instance, West Durham, which is 12 2-megawatt wind turbines, the total cost of that project to install was about £33 million. And yeah, it's a big investment. What that doesn't include is all of the costs of the developments. Those costs are broken down into actually purchasing the turbine. So unfortunately there isn't a UK-based turbine manufacturer, and the turbine manufacturer that we used and we identified for the West Durham wind farm was a company called Repower, and they're a German manufacturer. So there's a lot of cost and expense in doing those works, as well as then eventually bring in the specialists from Germany and also an Irish company, specialists who were brought in with the big cranes to erect the turbines themselves. In terms of how long it pays for itself, well, that's subject to what's known as sort of commercial confidentiality.
Our research shows that in the 25-year lifespan of wind turbines, they can power up to 37,000 homes and produce more than £31 million worth of energy. The 12 turbines in the West Durham wind farm cost £33 million to build, making each turbine cost approximately £2.5 million.
Each turbine?
Each turbine.
Wow.
That's crazy. That's like £100,000 a year to run a wind turbine.
I don't think that's value for money, not for what they produce.
Excessive. Excessive for the return.
Each one.
Do you think that's a fair amount of money?
No.
Okay.
I think it must take a long time to recover the costs of that.
Each form of gathering energy has its pros and cons, yet each one is important to help sustain a certain standard of living in the UK. One North East is helping to promote sustainable economic and environmental development in the North East of England. With warnings of environmental and economic disasters on the horizon, are people willing to change their lifestyle in order to accommodate a greener way of life?
Yeah, I mean, clearly some people already are. There is clearly a constituency of people that are very positive and proactive about renewable technologies. As you drive around our region, you know, you see solar panels on roofs, you see small turbines on people's land or in their garden. There is some very strong drivers to get all members of society, all types of organisations involved in how we tackle climate change. What we're seeing from national governments in Europe and hopefully internationally as well is a real concerted effort to tackle climate change, but in a very positive, proactive way, rather than a sort of tackling the issue when it's too late, if you like.
We set out to get the facts, the pros and cons of harvesting energy, the public opinion. We've shown you two sides of the hill. We wish we could deliver a solution to the current issue at hand, but the reality of the situation is this. There is no immediate solution. There is only a call for action. The fact is, climate change can only be tackled by community effort and individual responsibility. It is not too late, and only we can make the difference.